When I was a child, about 4 years old, I became mesmerized by one of the glowing embers in our fireplace. I watched as the flames ebbed and swirled within and around each ember. There was one in particular that held my attention. It was a magnificent golden color. My daddy had been watching me, and he knew that I was fascinated by the fire. When I began inching my fingers towards the golden ember, he said, "Ah," which is a sound for stop. He told me that I would burn my fingers if I touched the fire. He then shooed me off to bed. The next morning I woke up and the golden ember was still on my mind. I rushed to the fireplace and stood very disappointed looking at the strewn black and gray ashes on the floor of the fireplace. Where was my golden ember? This was a miserable sight before me. I'm watching the events unfolding in this country. I'm not going to speak on today's crisis. Why? It's not because I don't care. It's because today's crisis falls in the same category as yesterday's crisis. It's my honest belief that these events are being hijacked or orchestrated by other entities within the world. My heart tells me that this is all Ephesians chapter 6 being played out before us. If you look at my previous videos, you will see that I've been laying the groundwork and trying to lead you to what will be the culmination. As I have mentioned in my previous video, we are witnessing a clash of powers. This clash is taking place in just about every country on this earth. It's not just happening in America. I told you about the clandestine activities that have taken place in our government. The key things I want you to remember are Operation Paperclip, where we obtained the scientists from Germany, and in 1947 the creation of the CIA and the government of Israel being established. In my previous video, I explained, and in my research notes, gave proof that our country has groups that are trying to hijack our liberty. I have read, and I believe that there is a concerted effort in this world to usher in a new world order. Under the auspices of Zionism, searching for the Messiah, and different agendas for garnering control, human events have been manipulated and hijacked to usher in population control. As Winston Churchill stated, never let a good crisis go to waste. In the Bible, we learn that Satan tried to promote himself to being equal with God. There was a mighty clash and Satan was cast down to earth. He has been trying to manipulate and derail mankind, God's creation, ever since. In the book of Genesis, we see several events where the Nephilim, or fallen angels, interacted with mankind. I believe that these interactions are still taking place today. We have all heard of the gray men, just as those golden glowing coals I described earlier were so beautiful. I believe the gray men to be luminescent beings that are relegated to a miserable cold state of the reptilians we hear so much about today. There's a show on Netflix about Bob Lazar. Supposedly this man was an informant who is revealing deep dark secrets about UFOs, alien contact, and relations with extraterrestrials in our CIA. Mouthful. I could not watch the show for more than a few minutes. As I listened to this narrator say this information would blow people's mind or would shake people's belief systems. For me, those were fighting words. The language used is an indicator to me that this is an adversary, and I didn't have the stomach to listen to any more. What I believe has actually happened is that after Nikola Tesla passed away, his research and experiments were placed under the control of the CIA. If I understand correctly, Donald Trump's uncle John Trump was given responsibility for handling this research. Through many experiments such as MK Often, the Montauk Project, and Project Stargate, there are some who have purportedly had access to past and future time events. These agents have used the assistance of drugs, clairvoyance, the occult, astral projections through such notable characters as Aleister Crowley and other notable individuals. Through all of these activities, they claim to have had access to alien beings and that they can foresee the future and perhaps even manipulate events. As a Christian, and as just a person of very simple education, I understand how this can be mind-blowing. Some have already dismissed anything I have to say before I've even gotten to this point in my video. They've already assumed where I'm going with all of this. Excuse me. As I said earlier, I watched a bit of the documentary on Bob Lazar, and I was greatly offended. I've looked into all of this experimentation done by groups, and I admit that it is beyond me. I beg God to help me understand it all in my heart. And in my heart, I feel God telling me not to worry about the how. He asked, what does His Word say? Well, at first I thought there was not a whole lot in the Bible concerning the subject of time travel. But there is a lot said about deception. And the great dragon who was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Revelation 12:9. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. 2 Timothy 3:13. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Matthew 24:24. God has been pressuring me regarding the subject of time. I do not want hearts to be filled with gloom and doom, but I want to give the sense of urgency needed for preparation. The mantra, redeeming the time, has been going through my head. I also found another verse that gives pause. And swear by Him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there shall be time no longer. Revelation 13:2-10. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of the heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. That's from Revelation 13 to 10 through 10. This is Tigger Grandma signing out from Oklahoma. If you learn anything from this video and you appreciate this video, I request that you share it with all your friends. Thank you.